Hello, I'm here with Traslander today, who I know wanted to ask a couple of questions about Minecraft Bingo, and we just thought we would record some Mapmaker to Mapmaker chat. And so that's what we're going to do.
Yep. I would get in here and make fun of your wiring and whatever you did in here.
Oh dear.
That was my secret. No, I don't know. I looked at it. I looked in it the other day, and I was like, "What is he doing here? And what is the point of this?"
I'm sure there is some crazy stuff. I thought about I honestly hadn't looked at the wiring myself in a while, and so it'll be interesting to see as it comes back to mind for me as well. But I'm sure there's some things that are awful, and then some things that there's actually a clever reason for. So maybe we'll discover some of each.
Gotta op me. I have no power to. I want to go into spectator. It's the best.
There you go.
Spectator mode's built for looking at wiring and stuff.
Indeed.
And yeah, I can help you improve it, maybe.
Indeed. I have some ideas for improvement already. I don't know if you've seen my most recent Minecraft snapshot video.
No.
But basically with the latest, was it 29A and B, they added the world border get and like some more query kind of things. And you can use them for actually recording actual wall clock time. So my stupid thing where I have to use the number of ticks and try to do math so at the end of the game I can say that, you know, it took you 34 minutes or whatever to play a game of bingo. Like now I can actually compute the actual amount of time it actually took as opposed to some approximation based on server ticks, which are subject to lag and everything. So that's happy.
Oh, wait. What? What are you using to...
So the world border...
What are you doing right now for your clock?
For right now, for my clock, I have a hopper timer, which cycles every 0.8 seconds. It's up in the ceiling up here, actually, I think. If we fly up here, you see where I'm going?
Yep.
Where is it? It's one of these right here, I think, maybe. Increment time, yes. So there's a hopper timer that increments the time score that appears over on the right-hand side. And then when you win the game, that should be the number of, like, 0.8 seconds that have passed if the server wasn't lagging at all. And then it does some scoreboard math down at the win stuff, which is up on the floor above us. Which actually, if you want to follow me again and fly up here... Wow, I actually do remember a fair amount of this. This is good. I was afraid that I was going to have forgotten everything.
It hasn't been too long ago. Come on.
I don't know. I have trouble remembering what I had for breakfast yesterday. So over here, when you win, this row of stuff right here just does scoreboard math. If I just start like peeking into things, it's doing calculations with SEC and MIN, which are seconds and minutes. And so basically it just does math with the number of time ticks or hopper clock ticks that already went by to compute minutes and seconds and then display them in the scoreboard. So that's what I'm doing now. And it's not...
decide not to put in here?
That's a good question. Oh, hopper cycles. Right, it was going to say the time since start in terms of hopper cycles. Because one thing that I've noticed from people's videos is they see the time going and they go, that's how many seconds it's been. And it's not how many seconds it's been, it's how many, you know, hopper cycles it's been. And so I thought about like actually displaying it and writing out that it was hopper cycles rather than seconds.
How long is a hopper cycle?
Like if you make a...
Did you try to make it exact? Did you figure out how long it takes exactly for a hopper to tick back and forth? I don't even know.
Once upon a time, Moshe had said, I think it was, I could be putting words in his mouth, that this takes 0.8 seconds to basically, if you do this, let me get a comparator and a block that I can stick the comparator on. So if you just have one item going back and forth between a hopper clock, I think every 0.8 seconds, I think each one takes 0.4 seconds for it to transfer back and forth.
Okay.
And so based on that, I was like doing math where I effectively divide by 0.8, which was like, I don't know, multiplying by 4 and dividing by 5 or something.
Yeah. And then you have to deal with...
And then divide it by,
probably
60 convert it into minutes, and then subtract out that number from the seconds to get the remainder seconds. And
yeah, okay.
Right. Basically, it was math, and it always comes out to the wrong answer. If you have a fast server, it comes out to close to being almost the right answer. And if you have a slow server, it comes out to being a huge underestimate of the amount of time you actually played.
Yeah, okay.
But in the latest snapshot, they've finally given away that you can actually measure actual honest-to-goodness time. And so I'm going to be using that instead. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, you could always do the fill clock thing. Those are pretty accurate.
They're still based on server ticks. And so if your server is lagging and you're not getting all the ticks.
Yeah, but you just have to assume the server's not lagging. So, I mean... honestly, anything else the server's gonna be lagging anyway. I don't understand this query thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
So the world border, you can change the world border size, and you can say like over the next 100 seconds, I want the world border to change from this size to this size.
Yeah.
And it uses actual time. Like you can pause the game, you can pause the server, and come back 10 seconds later, and the world border will have advanced 10 seconds farther. And so if you just, have a world border that changes from like 1 million to 1,010,000 over the next 10,000 seconds, then you can simply query with world border get in a command block and get the score of, how far the world border has gone. And that's how many seconds have actually passed. And it's not subject to lag, and it's not subject to the server being paused or anything like that, because I don't know exactly how the world border works, but they're actually just using a clock, and they just have a timer event that like every second like updates the world border or something.
That would still be successive to lag to server slowdown stuff.
Not if they have an event that says every time a time passes with the actual computer clock, run this event. It's not subject to game tick lag anyway. I mean, there's other things that could, cause the scheduling to fall behind of those events, but if they're relatively infrequent, I don't know if it's updating, like once a second or how often it actually updates.
Yeah.
But basically, I did check out my most recent video. I did a test where I just spawned thousands and thousands of wolves to lag the server, and one clock is still going at a normal speed, and the other clock is going really slow.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. And like one clock is what kind? Is a hopper or?
Well, yeah, one clock is a fill clock.
Okay.
And the other one was the world border clock.
Huh.
So I'm looking forward to using that in the next version.
Range. You'll have to look into that. Because I've been discussing with a guy about lag, and he's doing he's been setting up like a big test for like all the clocks, all the type of clocks, and doing that type of stuff. I don't know. Okay. What do we got here?
Let's see. This is checking
like
for the win conditions. It is kind of a fill clock, but it happens anytime someone gets an item. And so we might actually be able to see it working. Let's see. Do I have a bingo map? I do. So one of the items is an apple, for example. So if I grab an apple... Yeah, I saw a big blink. And so, let's see. I think the big picture is every time someone gets an item, it runs... Yes. There's a sign here that says, someone got an item tick. And so this piece of wool right here gets replaced with a redstone block that then goes and runs a bit of stuff, which... I think like plays the sound to everybody that somebody got an item, and then it runs these clocks which go and check and see if red has gotten a bingo horizontally or diagonal.
Wait. Stop there for a sec.
Sure.
What is with the minecarts? What is with the minecarts? That was the biggest thing. Like, why is he having minecarts trigger everything? I don't get it.
So here's the reason behind the minecarts. So a while ago. So I started making this map like before I even knew about fill clocks.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of like historical vestigial stuff in the map. So that's kind of informs some of it. Basically, I needed a way that I could keep track of a bunch of state and kind of like redstone state. and be able to reset it at the end of the game. And at some point, I had the brilliant idea that, hey, guess what? Minecarts are entities, and I can kill them. And so as a result, I can just have different things. Oops, I just got a minecart, and that was one of the items. And so as a result, I can have minecarts go and trigger different things at different times, and I can just spawn them in, and then whenever I need to reset the game state at the end of the day, I just say, kill all the minecart entities in the map, and kazam, everything is fixed, and all that state has gone away. And so that was kind of the start of minecart stuff that like happens with a lot of the little clocks that are running for, you know, checking if people get items and different things. I guess we'll come and take a look at this up here in a bit.
Okay.
And
that's cool.
Then later I just started using that all over the place. And so basically when there's state that kind of like accumulates over time during the game, such as, you know, you got a row of items or you got this particular item or something, I just put a minecart down that marks that state and activates some redstone. And then at the end of the game, when I want to reset all of that state, I just kill all the minecarts.
Okay.
So
so what are you changing that? Are you gonna do it differently? Or?
It's not the most efficient way to do it. So okay, so backing up. Over here, the minecarts over here are basically used for testing if I got each of the vertical rows in bingo. And if all 5 of them light up, then I have a giant redstone and gate here.
Oh, yeah.
That determines that you got mega bingo.
Okay.
A much simpler way to determine that would just be to check your score value and see if it's reached 25. But I think at the point that I was making this, I was kind of getting bored and just wanted to do something with redstone. And so I did this, but yeah, it's very stupid to be doing this as a way to check if people get all 25 items. But that's actually what's going on here. And so basically, I think each time you get a full row, yeah, this one, the blocks that are over here, summon a minecart. Oh yeah. I'm going to teleport. No, I'm not. There you go.
Hey, minecart's on there. Okay, so that's with the minecarts. See, I do like that you could kill them all, and that just from the one command resets the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, when I had that insight, like at the time, I just thought that was like the most brilliant thing ever, and so I probably ended up overusing it, but...
Yeah, you'd probably be just setting a redstone block there, and...
Well, yeah, if you set a redstone block there, it's not as easy to clear it in one command, right?
Yeah. That's good. You'd have to... I mean, I kind of working towards that, like, stuff like that I can reset. I just have to... You have to organize everything around that, so you can clear them as little as you need to at the end, you know? So they're all kind of lined up against each other.
Right. And yeah, if they were all in a particular area and I could just do like a fill replace command and say replace all the redstone blocks with air, then it would work. But I didn't, I didn't, you know, kind of set it up for that. And B, I have a bunch of redstone blocks over here that are doing kind of other things. And so basically there's kind of like an L of redstone blocks here. And so there's a vertical line and there's a horizontal line. And these are like the templates when I'm comparing to see, what is it, like test for blocks. That basically like compares 2 regions, basically trying to see if someone gets an entire horizontal line for bingo or entire vertical line for bingo. Oh. I just use a test for blocks kind of in each of the rows and each of the columns, and then test for blocks against the 2 diagonals. And so there's diagonal redstone blocks over here.
That's cool. Oh, so these are the 2 that have gotten on your team. Okay.
Right, that's exactly. Cool. And then here is the actual 5x5 model that corresponds to the map for the red player and for the blue player.
Okay. I get it. Cool. Why do you have different levels?
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. So, when I was originally kind of planning things out in my head, I didn't know a whole lot about spawn chunks, but I knew I needed to make the area for like the whole map pretty compact so that all the redstone would stay inside spawn chunks and stay activated.
Yeah.
And I knew if I was standing near the center of the map, I'd be able to see the whole map. And so basically I knew I wasn't going to have enough horizontal room to do all the things that I needed to do. because obviously like the entire top level like actually has to have the actual map that's going to get displayed on the map. And I knew I had a bunch of other redstone and different things. And so basically I started with a super flat world that I, kind of like customized out with different glowstone and different levels. And I just tried to kind of plan out in my head what are the basic pieces of functionality. I don't know if you're actually following me as I'm kind of like...
I lost you. I don't.
I see.
I'm up top here somewhere. I'm just looking at...
I'm going to teleport you back to me real quick.
Okay. I like how you did the apple.
And I'm just dropping down to like see a few different levels of things. And so on paper at some point I decided, okay, I'm going to need one floor whose job it is to like test for wind conditions. And I'm going to need another floor whose job it is to run like, teleportation to and from the map update room. And I'm going to need one floor that's kind of like the, whole starter area and different kinds of things.
Yeah, okay.
And so I made just kind of like a few different vertical levels, kind of one above another, when I kind of just, roughly kind of planned out and made them a few different heights. If we go back up, if you fly straight up from where you are, if we go back up to this level, which is like the level of the templates.
Yeah.
Basically, I was originally thinking there were two things I could do in terms of the art. In the old Minecraft Bingo, in the Minecraft Bingo 1.0, or whatever you might call it, that I made previously, there weren't as many map colors to work with. And so I had to use elevation. And if you fly over in this direction, you can actually see when I was trying to make my face, you can use elevation, and like soul sand is a lighter color when it's like climbing elevation or whatever. And so if you make a map of this area, like it looks ridiculous with the soul sand coming up, but it's a lighter color than if it were flat soul sand. Here, let's if you go into creative mode and on the bucket tab, get an empty map and right click it and take a look at that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to put some soul sand like completely horizontal, and you can see kind of the color difference hopefully on the map after that comes in.
Why is it darker here? Oh, you're the glowstone. Duh. Oh, I didn't even notice maps light up more when you're in light levels.
Oh yeah, let me do another time set 0.
I had no idea. That's cool.
And so the little right side of my face that I just added, basically you can see it's kind of like the lighter yellow versus the darker grayish color. Basically each time you increase the elevation, map colors get lighter, and each time you decrease the elevation, map colors get a little bit darker.
What do you mean by the elevation? Like,
sorry, going from the top to the bottom. And so basically the part that I'm updating now, I'm going to make it go higher on each block. And then look at the map again and watch how that updates.
The heck?
And it goes row by row there. Yeah, so that part just got lighter, and then the one below it got darker because now the elevation is dropping.
Huh.
And so, yeah, it has this weird effect that basically as you go from top of the map to the bottom of the map, which I guess it's like from north to south, if the elevation of the blocks increases or decreases, then it causes the blocks to get a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. So it's almost like sunlight is like falling down on the map from a little bit of an angle. And so in the original version of Minecraft Bingo, there were a lot fewer colors to work with. And so I used this like to get all the different color variations I needed to do to try to draw the art. And I thought I might need that for this map as well. And so I tried to make the templates and make the whole map with enough room so that if I needed these things to be like 16 blocks tall, so that I could just like have them kind of like growing up and growing downwards and different kinds of things, I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
But then it turned out with all the new colors, I could just do flat pixel art and make objects that were all identifiable on the map. And so that's the reason that there's as much space as there is kind of between this level and this level, is just because I thought I might need that extra space.
What's BDI?
BDI is when I made the 2.1 version that had tiny biomes, lowercase b, many dungeons, capital D, and no andesite, granite, or diorite, lowercase I.
See, those are the
so
options.
basically, I added some things and removed some things, and so just as a quick reminder, I put it on there. And it also made it such that when Brian was watching other people play the map on YouTube, I could quickly glance at their map and like tell which version of the map they had. So I've got like the version number on the bottom of the map, and yeah, there's some other minor differences that just make it easy for me to, when I'm watching other people's videos, know which version of the map they're using, because that's been helpful to me for like tracking down bugs and seeing things that people had trouble with.
Don't you clone them from somewhere else? Like, which ones you're...
Right, and so the one that's on top is the one that will get modified and kind of trashed while the game is running. And so these got cloned from elsewhere. And where they got cloned from is, originally it was just this level, because originally there were just 25, and so these are the templates I'm standing on right down here of the original 25 items. And if we go way down deep, actually if you go into spectator mode and just fly straight down, eventually we'll get down to when I decided to add more items. Yeah, I needed more space, and I didn't plan for this at the beginning, and so I just made some levels, much farther down. And so there's another level there, and if you go even farther down, it's only on the left half, but there's another level down here.
Yeah.
So these are all the extra item templates, and so they get cloned from down here up to the top of the map, and they actually get cloned in 2 stages. And so if you go back up to kind of the middle area of the map where we had the kind of wind detection, and you were asking me about the mine carts.
Yeah.
Basically, in order to have a small finite number of clone commands in command blocks, it's the case that there's a bunch of things that clone from each of the individual template locations to this one fixed location, which is like the temporary staging area. And so whenever I'm trying to make a new map, I grab a random command block, clone one of the templates into the staging area, and then there's another thing that knows how to clone from the staging area to the upper left of the map, and then the second one on the map, and to the third one on the map, and to the fourth one on the map. And so I can kind of fill them in one by one. And so it's kind of a two-step process. Something clones to the staging area, and then something clones from the staging area to one of the new slots in the map.
Okay, you said a whole lot of stuff there, but okay. My frames are dying for some reason on me. I don't know what causes this once in a while. I gotta stop this recording, and I gotta change it or something. Okay, seems good. Yeah.
Okay, so you ready to go?
Yeah. Okay. It's good. It's good. Wait, what is this? This green...
Let me teleport over to you.
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
Oh.
This camouflage-looking pattern thingy.
Where are you? I don't see you.
Oh, right, I'm in spectator.
Oh, ha!
This one.
Oh, this is a spruce sapling. And is this one currently on the map? Yeah, it's at the bottom right of the map right now.
Why is it there? It gets cloned over here? Why does this one get cloned over here?
So this is just the last one that... so basically, we clone an item from the templates to here, which is the staging area, and then we clone them from the staging area to the map, one at a time, and so whatever was the last one to get cloned, the one on the bottom right, is just still here because it's left over from...
I see. Okay. Alright.
Being in the staging area.
Yeah, you kind of have it set up like me. Like you have... Yours are at different levels, mine's in one flat plane. I'm able to fit everything in one kind of flat plane.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same kind of... I have it... like the 3 sections. I have world load, game start, and game end, and I don't have a reset. So
I see. And when you say yours, which map are you speaking of?
I was thinking of I talk about Undermine. I've been
okay.
Yeah, and I mean I'm working on as Undermine as like a base right now. Probably it's all kind of stuff that'll work for other maps.
Right. Yeah, modular components that you can use for other stuff.
So yeah, that's why I still have like the world load. It's world load, game start, game end, or win conditions type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. While we're talking about your maps, so occasionally I leave myself signs as kind of like reminders or do things like, over here I've got the red wool and the blue wool, just to remember, like what's checking for a red player condition and a blue player condition, since I've got, 2 team colors. Like, do you do any other clever things to, like, just help you remember? Like, when you're flying around, there's just a mess of command blocks. It can be hard to remember where anything is. And so do you have any other tips for that or strategies that you use?
Might be better to go over there. Just load up my map and just show you.
I see. Maybe we'll do that next.
Yeah, we could do that. Let me see if there's anything else here. Okay. Well, so this level's the checking thing.
Yeah, this is pretty much, this area is all checking for wind condition. This thing over here is part of the thing that starts up the map. This is the thing that knows how to clone it to the top left corner, and the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one.
Oh, okay. So this is each.
So this is 25 blocks long, because there's 25 different squares.
Okay. Oh, yeah, did you type all these in yourself?
Yup.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You're crazy.
I use a text editor and
that's another thing.
Mode.
You are like...
I'm anti-MC edit. I'm anti-tools.
You're the most stubborn person.
I'm a grumpy old man.
I don't... Yeah, you haven't touched MC edit at all. You don't even have it. Right.
I don't... Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of videos.
I don't know whether to be... I'm not impressed because of how stubbornly that is. Like, come on. You gotta... Like, all this is, like, random... Like, you get torches you're having to put on things over here. You can just select the area and set the biome to Mushroom Island. That's it.
If you spent the... No. Let's stop out.
Come on.
I tried to do this with the Mushroom Island,
yeah.
And I ended up with mushrooms spawning everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was a problem. Like, they spawn on glowstone, I think, and so they were, like, spawning in, like, the start room and all kinds of ridiculous places. And so I was originally going to do this mushroom biome. I suggested to our Mojang friends that they need a null biome that just doesn't spawn anything. And so hopefully in the future they'll actually give that to us. But there's a reason that this isn't a mushroom biome. And it actually, on my original, on the 1.0 version, it was. And there were mushrooms kind of everywhere, and just dealing with it because I didn't know what else to do. And so on this one, I was like, okay, I'm not going to have the mushroom problem. Instead, I will just ensure that there's glowstone everywhere so that there's tons of light, and we won't have to worry about hostile mobs. And it didn't really work all that well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, yeah, you can see there's lighting errors everywhere. Like, doing the glowstone levels was a horrible, horrible idea.
This is hilarious.
I didn't know any better. This is my first, like, big map project, so.
Yeah. The glowstone areas are fun. I like the random... There's mushrooms over here. Wait. You didn't place all this glowstone by hand, did you?
No, again, this was from a preset. I did a super flat, and so, like, you can say, level 68 is glowstone, and level 146 is glowstone, or whatever, and all the other levels are air. And so I made a super flat world with the different levels that I wanted to originally kind of carve the map out of.
Oh, wow.
And then I just copied one region from that world into a normal world.
Okay.
And so we got a 512 by 512 super flat area, followed by an infinite Minecraft map around it.
Okay. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm a crazy man.
Crazy. Summoning your minecarts and...
Right, and you see, I've got repeaters everywhere, and just groups of command blocks, because I didn't know about fill clocks at the beginning, and then once I had the ball rolling...
This was your learning experience. What is this over here?
That is the new randomizer for selecting the command blocks, or for selecting the... what 25 items are going to go on with my difficulty system.
Randomizer here somewhere?
And so if you take a look at this map wall, this shows all the items that are currently available. And I put them in groups of 2 or 3. The place that they are located on the map wall here is where they are on the templates. And so the top row is all the things that were on when we were looking at the right below the actual thing that's on the map, like the first level of templates.
Yeah.
And then the second row is when we flew down in spectator mode to the next thing, the 25 items that were down there. And then the third row is a few other items that ended up in the level that was even further below.
Okay.
And then I group them into sets of 3. If you come over here, there's signs that say easy, medium, and hard. And so, for example, 3 of the items, there's a diamond, and there's a diamond hoe, and there's a diamond axe. And so, like, the diamond would be the easy one of that group, the diamond hoe would be the medium one, and the diamond axe would be the hard one. And if let's see, I think if I put a redstone block right here, we can actually see what it does.
Well, yeah.
Do that. Okay, we clear out the void. And then, right. Then I can, oops. Yeah, clone the easy and clone the medium and clone the hard. So we end up with a copy of all these command blocks over here. And then I have a wolf who gets spread playered, who then kind of falls randomly into one of the columns and then falls randomly onto another block in one of the other columns. And each stack will clone one item to the staging area and then erase that entire section. And so you get one item from an easy, medium, hard group and then get another item from an easy, medium, hard group or whatever. And yeah, do that 25 times in order to randomize because spread players is the best randomizer.
That's crazy.
And I was very fortunate that, like, in order to have spread players work and only go on certain blocks, like, you have to have an area of void, and so I carved out this area of void.
Yeah, I was wondering, this looks like a chunk error. What is this?
And yeah, I had to carve out an area that I could spread players into, and fortunately it was close enough to the center of the map in the starter room that it's still, like, within kind of render distance or whatever, because I'm getting really close to the edge. And originally I was worried that I wouldn't have room to do it, and I was going to be very upset if the only randomizer was spread players, and spread players required the void, and I had a map design that didn't allow me void space near the spawn. But
why does spread players require a void? Require the void?
Because if there isn't void here, if there were blocks here,
yeah,
when you spread players, the wolf might end up, sitting down over here, and then what do I do?
Oh, okay.
Like, I just need to make
it forces him
lands in one of those. Yeah, it basically forces him to land in one of those 25 or 75 spots or whatever it is.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And yeah, when you're selecting a card, you can select an easy card or a hard card. And if you select an easier card, it only gives you easy and mediums. And if you select a harder card, it only gives you mediums and hards. So that's why you can clone these 3 bits separately, because depending upon the game startup, you'll only get one half or the other half. And then I think over here is just like another cloned copy of the entire thing. Yeah, backup copy of easy, medium, hard. Just in case somehow at some point I accidentally ruined the map and destroyed some of it. It took a lot of work to set up all the command blocks with the exact sets, and it's very hard to recover them because each command block just has a big set of coordinates in it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. That's cool. And also crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, especially crazy.
It's one of those things that I definitely know a lot of things now of ways that I could do things differently and easier, but there's a very strong, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of it that I hate, but if I hate it and it works, then we'll just leave it working and move on.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, what are these doing up here?
Right, and then finally, there's the little things that just test if people have items and clear things out of their inventory and give them scores.
Oh, so these will be constantly clocking. What do you do, summon the item on top of one of them?
Yes, and so basically after we clone the entire new board, then it also goes and just summons one item that goes and falls into the hopper in order to start the clock. And so if we go, so this is the template.
That, you just paste over it, I guess.
Exactly, I'm just going to paste over it when you reset the card in order to make a new one. And so if we, I don't see a hole right now, but we can just bust in over here. If we go up to the top and see them actually running, this was actually also the cause of one of the best bugs that I ever found, which is when I was first testing this map with Burgasms. We were playing and all of our items were registering just fine. And then one item we got and it didn't update on the bingo board. And I was like, I wonder what's going on. And Bergasms was like, why don't you go teleport over to the redstone and see if you can figure out what's gone wrong? And so I teleport over to the redstone, and what do I find in the item that wasn't getting set off? But a zombie who was holding a piece of stone. Because I summoned a piece of stone directly above to follow the hopper timer, and a zombie caught it in midair because he spawned up here.
Oh, God.
And so as a result, I've changed it so that when it is first setting up the board, it temporarily puts the game in peaceful so there's no hostile mobs while it's setting up the board. But that was the best bug ever.
Easy, quick fix. That's good.
It's another reason that we really need the null biome, because, yeah, the fact that mobs can, like, pick up items and do crazy stuff like that, like,
Yeah. Well,
just
you only
interferes
got
so
one
much.
spot. Let's see. Oh, no, you got several lighting. Darkness.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that mobs could spawn here. Again, since this is so much of this is just done by hand, like rather than try to put in glowstone in the right places and then clone it over 25 times or whatever, I just said, to heck with it, mobs are going to spawn.
Yeah.
And it also, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or not, but when people teleport here and teleport back, like the fact that mobs actually do spawn here at the world spawn is kind of a good thing, because otherwise, if you're playing head-to-head against someone else and you teleported to update the map, if no mobs could spawn here, that would mean all the mobs in the world would go spawn on the other player.
Yeah.
And so it would kind of unbalance things or whatever. And so the fact that there's actually mob spawning spaces here is a little bit by design, although it's kind of like by accidental design that I then decided to justify that way. So
yeah, Mojang does that all the time.
Yeah, indeed.
Like, oops, that's a feature. Okay, there was another level, wasn't there?
There's the starting room. So if we TP to 150, 150, 150,
break things.
Or break things. Yeah, you can get out and see. This is the part that I planned the least, and it shows.
Yeah.
It's a gigantic, horrible mess, and I hate it, and I hate ever having to update it.
I don't know, I'd love to update this. This looks like fun to update. I make it all straight and neat and organized. Be good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Feel free to ask any questions you like about it.
I know, this is just blocks triggering things.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing is...
Oh, that's just a set block.
It's just a set block, and I happen to have like 10 commands that need to run at once, and so... Again, with no fill clocks...
Things start getting added on more and more.
Yep. They just keep getting bolted on, and occasionally I've done a little bit of refactoring, and so like originally... I don't know, when you see things with a white wool block over here that then sticks out,
yeah.
It originally was attached to the side of the wall, because right through here is like where you actually step on the pressure plate.
Yeah.
And eventually I ran out of space to like have it like all like right attached to the wall and under the pressure plate. And I was like, I need more commands. I need to stretch it out. And so I just said, okay, set a redstone block over here and we'll go run a whole bunch of other commands.
Okay.
But it's horrible, and there's, I don't know, 100 things you have to do at the beginning of the game in order to actually make it work. And so, yeah, it's just a big mess of command blocks.
Cool. Oh, yeah, it's yeah, my stuff, yeah, all my stuff used to look like this. Long ago.
I look forward to the day where I get to make a new map, because I've learned a lot in the process of making this one.
Yeah. Okay. This random pink thing here.
That is the place that when you start the game, one player gets teleported in here and his inventory gets entirely filled with maps, just to ensure that at least one person has looked at the map, to ensure that it updates and actually like clears off everything, so that at the end of one game you don't start the next game and you look at your map and you still see everybody's score from the previous game because no one had updated the map yet.
Okay. I kinda got that.
Maps only update if someone's looking at them while they're in the correct location. And so basically at the beginning of the game, I ensure that someone is looking at it in the correct location.
Okay.
So that you start off with an empty map.
I guess you could detect their selected slot, give them an item to that slot. That might
I guess I could do that.
Perfect.
They could scroll away. I guess they could.
Yeah, I don't know if it's...
all these maps out of their inventory too.
Because give is fast enough now. that it goes directly to their inventory. So it might like update right away. Maybe
I see. Yeah, it could be. And I don't know if you actually, I don't think you actually need to, like, it takes like 2 seconds for a map to update on your screen. But I think actually if you're only like looking at it for just a moment in your inventory, like the server starts updating and then continues to update. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might not actually need that anymore. But
I don't know, you might still need to be there. I don't know. If anything, you could just like put one like way up in the air above them or something. Just like on an item frame that to force it to update.
And it brings them out here because in order to select one player to do it to, I had to, in these commands, like it has to give maps that have like, you have to give filled map, and like each time, you know, if you create a new map, like it becomes, you know, filled map number 3 or filled map number 4 or filled map number 5. Like each time you create a new map in some new area, like they get a new, you know, just kind of counts up and gives them a new number like per world.
Yeah.
And so I need everybody to have the same map. And so I had one command block that gives them, in this case, it's map number 1 is like the official map number of the actual map that looks on this area.
Yeah.
And I had one command block, and each time I pasted this into a new world, I had to like reset which map it was, because I'd have to like go into creative mode again and like give myself some maps and update them and look at them. And I didn't have a good system for doing it. And so some maps used, you know, map 0, and some used map 1, and some used map 2. And I had a single command block that I had to update, that I had to go and manually update, that said, you know, give them filled map X, whatever X was. And yeah, and then when I wanted to fill a person's inventory, I just cloned that same command 9 times and put it way over here, and then I could have a player stand right here, and @P would be the nearest player. Since he's standing right here, he's the nearest player to these command blocks. And so they would all run, and they would all give him maps at the same time, and so his entire inventory would get filled with maps. It was just a kludge because I got lazy, basically. But I did kind of like the effect that when people start the map, like someone gets teleported out here, and just for a moment, they see all the command blocks and all of the horrible, horrible glory of the map.
Yeah. I used to have, like, visible things that made the redstone visible. But you don't need to teleport people too much anymore for that type of stuff.
Yeah, they've gotten so many more nice things now.
Does a map in spawn chunks in an item frame not update it?
Nope. A map being held by a zombie doesn't update it. I tried so many things. I tried everything I could think of. The item
frame doesn't work.
Yep, put it in the item frame. Here, we can do it right now, just to double check, because it's maybe... No, we're still in 20B here, so...
I mean, well, where's the spawn?
It won't have changed, but I've got an item frame right here, and I can throw a map in it. Oops, an item frame was an item.
Oh, yeah.
I scored!
Oh, how did I score? Oh, yeah, I never actually entered a team.
Right, you're not on the blue team.
Okay.
But yeah, there's the bingo card, and so now if I get an item but don't look at a map, and you don't look at a map either, what's another item?
Yeah, you have to look. Oh, I forgot they don't update on the wall. That's right. Huh.
So I got an item, and the map is not updating because no player is holding and looking at it.
Okay, I see. I see.
But then if I do look at it, the one that's on the wall also updates, because they all update in sync.
Where's the green arrow on the...
What, you see a green arrow? What are you talking about?
The player
that's
on the top of the
us
apple.
Standing on the map.
Really? Does that update? I don't think that updates, right?
Whenever you place a map on an item frame, it puts down markers for the person who placed it down, and so I was standing right here when I placed it, right in the middle of the apple. If you actually look at the map, you can see us standing there.
That's a "you are here" thing.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Oh, and then the mob system, right.
What is this?
So this part right here is the teleporter. So basically there's a clock over here that runs and detects when you throw a map on the ground. It's not running right now because the game isn't going. But if I turn this off,
oh yeah, the stupid thing you had to make it so mobs like don't despawn.
That's over there. This is just the thing that, like, you drop a item on the ground, it teleports you over, it plays the Enderpearl sound, puts you in the little room, and then a few seconds later, this is all these repeaters are just to, like, wait a couple seconds to give the map a chance to update while you're holding it, and then it teleports you back to wherever you were.
Okay.
This thing over here is to keep the mobs from despawning. And so basically, yeah, there's like a row for each mob that looks for creepers and then summons a persisted creeper. And then when you teleport back, it goes and gets the persistent creepers and teleports them down into the void and summons a normal creeper back in their place and does all kinds of ridiculous things. I don't remember what it does. It's a giant pain in the neck.
Yeah.
But basically to preserve all the mobs that are around the player, because otherwise whenever you update the map and teleport back to spawn, all the mobs will despawn.
Yeah, just to deal with their stupid spawning system. Huh. Okay.
It's not a bad spawning system. I just wish that we had fake players or fake chunk loaders or something that would...
Yeah. I think they should just stop any type of thing and work on a clock block.
That would be really nice.
That's like the only issue right now that I have is like anything I can't, like, clocks just are too damn laggy. Like those servers.
Anything you want to do, like, it's like, let's do a whole bunch of things that cause the server to have to do something 20 times a second, even though I only really want to do something every 5 minutes.
So, like, yeah, that stuff, the efficiency, making things more stable type of stuff. That's what we need. We don't need this, like, whatever that stupid feature, the latest feature, that pissed...
Yeah, the query stuff you don't like.
That pissed me off. Like, I'm like, what the hell is this? What are they doing? Who's, like, if you try to explain that type of stuff in a video, you just come off sounding like an idiot. Like, no matter how clearly you explain it, because of how convoluted it is.
It is pretty sucky that now, in addition to command blocks having an actual output that comes out of a comparator, now they have an invisible output that gets stored invisibly by having other commands activate something in the command block. Yeah.
You could tell it just made Seth just quit the game. Like, it's so dumb. Like, just stop stacking on stuff and, like, have a clear plan, guys.
I feel like they don't want to give too much general programming power to us, or maybe not at once, for reasons that aren't clear to me. But I just get the sense that, like, they want to keep it reined in. They want to keep the set of map makers small. I don't know. I could be completely wrong about that. That's like the vague
like
sense
trying to
that I get.
scare them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Oh, and then this might be something new that I'm working on that I haven't talked about yet.
That's a lot of math.
Yep. Yeah, this is for version 2.4. I have a great idea, but I haven't talked about it yet, so I'm not going to talk about it here either.
I'll leave it on my screen here so they can figure it out.
That's right. If people can figure it out from these command blocks, then you were super awesome, and you deserve to know the secret.
Multiply, add, multiply, divided by. Okay. Interesting.
I love using the scoreboard for math, though.
Yeah.
You do a lot of stuff with
all
math.
this new stuff, they should have just kept all of that on the scoreboard system. I don't understand, like, inputting crap into the command blocks themselves and the entities themselves.
Right. Yeah,
that's
scoreboard...
that's adding a whole nother system of doing things. And now they added just this game rule system, and that's a third system of doing things. Like, just keep all that on the scoreboard system. We can deal with adding more commands onto that. It was it was complicated enough as it is. Okay.
That's something that I feel like in general, like, command blocks are like programming like assembly language as opposed to a real programming language. And I feel like, yeah, a common thing with, like, assembly kind of languages or whatever is, yeah, like, there's more than one way to do it, and one way is, like, slightly more efficient in this one circumstance. And yeah, there's just all these esoteric things. Yeah, it definitely feels like an assembly language, and assembly language is not for everybody, and I feel like they're trying to make it not for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, they're thinking like programmers too much, and not like, I don't know. They think we're programmers. I'm not a damn programmer. Like, I did this to, like, do all the mechanical stuff of putting things together, and now I'm, like, doing math all the time, which I actually have gotten into, but I like the scoreboard system. It's not bad. I mean, it could be like minimized a little bit. It doesn't need all these. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Is there any more levels here? I guess that's it.
I think we've gone through all the levels. Then here's the actual room that you teleport into, and then here's the victory room or whatever at the end, which I stupidly put it at level 128, and I actually the original like room that you teleport into was 128, 128, 128, because I wasn't sure about spawn chunks, and so like if I only had one chunk to work with, I was going to originally like have all the redstone in that chunk. And like if you go straight up, like the original mob system was all in a single chunk up there, but now it's moved. And so it's not actually there anymore. But yeah, it turns out there's lots of spawn chunks. There's like, I don't know, 144 spawn chunks or something ridiculous that always stay loaded. But it originally was at 128, 128, 128, and 128 is the cloud layer.
Yeah.
And so people always come to the game over room. I never had clouds turned on because I think clouds are stupid.
Yeah, that's one tip I can give you. I always have clouds turned on as a map maker.
I've actually got them turned on now, and I see them, but I see them in everybody's video, and I've been too lazy to like move this up 5 blocks or something.
Yeah, I see them here. It's funny.
But yeah, it's dumb that they come into here and they're signs, and they can barely read them because they have to see through clouds to get them. So yeah, this is me being lazy again. But I honestly never realized it until I watched other people play the map.
Yeah, I've always I'm just gonna keep clouds on just in case I have to. If I don't. I know. Just to deal with the clouds.
Yep. I think it's good. It's like if you're going to be a map maker, you got to kind of like deal with the default settings that everybody else is going to deal with in order to see how people are going to play your map.
Everything they were going to see. Okay, cool. Oh, this one kind of goes along. Oh, you're just against the wall here. Okay. I guess that's it for your map. I don't know how long this is recording.
Yeah, we can decide afterwards if we want to divide things up. But do you want to transfer over to yours?
Sure. After I make fun of your square room that you start out in, that's stone and... the
most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? You love it?
Yeah,
you love it to death? You wish you could build anything as beautiful as this?
It's beautiful. It's brilliant. And the glowstone floor, man, that's good carpeting there. It's a good base. Yep. And the letters on the walls, you can't... you have to kind of back up to read the word card and info. Those are good too.
One thing that I would really like is if they gave us... have you ever played Terraria? So in Terraria, in one of the most recent updates, they added, you know how there's like statues, and there's like a sword statue and like a potion statue, and like people would put them like above their chests so that they knew, like, you know, this is my chest with my weapons, this is my chest with my potions.
Haven't played lately, but yeah, go on. I kind of understand
so in any
what you're
case,
talking about.
They also recently made it so that you can craft statues that have each letter of the alphabet and each of the numbers 0 through 9. And so basically, like, they're these in Terraria, they're basically like 2 block tall and 1 block wide things that can be letters and numbers. And so you can actually like build words and signs that you can see easily from a distance, as opposed to stupid Minecraft signs, which if you're not like right up in front of them, you can't read them from like even 5 blocks away.
Yeah.
And then the other option is to build 5 by 5, letters that are gigantic that you have to be standing 100 blocks back in order to read. I really wish in Minecraft they would have craftable blocks that would just be like 1 block is 1 letter, and you could craft the letter A through the letter Z and all of the numbers and whatever, and so you could read it like about this distance standing away, and just have a sign that said Traslander or something, and it would be super obvious and readable to everybody and wouldn't take up the entire screen and wouldn't be super tiny on a sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or map letters. People
do a little bit of things with like stairs and 3x3 kind of blocky fonts, but I just wish there were, if people ask me what block I want to add the alphabet block. And maybe be like a note block, and you could just like right click on it to like cycle through A through Z and 0 through 9 or something. But yeah, that's what I want. What you looking at?
I don't know. Just looking at. I haven't actually seen the item frame, like the map in the.
Oh, I see.
After I don't know, like they changed that a while ago, and I haven't really looked at it. It's kind of cool. Like made it fill out the whole side of the block. That's kind of cool.
The one thing that they've still done wrong, that you can see, how do I get that to actually kind of like happen here? Yeah, it'll show up better if I put it on an item frame over here. And I was actually complaining about this recently. So basically, if you have the map and then you start walking to the right until the map is just about to go off screen, or you like turn your head just the right way. Yeah, so if I'm right here and I turn my head, I can still see the soul sand, but the map disappears because the game decides it's no longer in my field of view, and so it quits rendering it. But in fact, it's just if the item frame didn't have anything inside of it, the item frame would be out of view, but the map actually sticks out farther. And so like the map like disappears. And so if you have an entire map wall and you kind of look at it and like tilt your head, the ones on the very edge of your screen like disappear for no apparent reason. And you actually see the wall that's behind them rather than seeing the maps.
I'm looking for... What the heck is...
Boop, boop.
The screen widening thing. I'm like, I can't even think.
Screen widening? You mean just dragging your window, or?
God, I can't.
A field of view?
Yeah, that.
FOV?
Yeah, where is that in the settings? I don't know. That's probably I'm staring at it. It's under there. Field of vision. Where is it? No, it's here. I thought it was under it.
Options.
I thought it was a drag
setting,
bar, but it's not. Here. It's not under.
Options.
Scale.
Control.
Oh, it's right at the top of the options menu. Now.
Oh, FOV.
There it is. When did that get there? Okay, Quake Pro.
Quake Pro. Let's see. I assume it's got the same bug, just in a different position. Yeah.
No, it's in the same position. Like it's in the.
I mean, basically, again, when it gets to the edge of the screen, when the item frame wouldn't be rendered, it also doesn't render the map, even though the map is bigger than the item frame.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they should do something about that.
Oh dear, how do I get it back to normal?
It's a 60. That's
60.
70. I guess 70.
I see. Yes, 70
Apparently,
is normal.
I was at normal. I thought I had mine bigger. I don't know. I changed between versions, and your options aren't saved between versions, which is something they need to fix.
Yeah.
Like when you change your snapshot, if you go to an old snapshot, it reverts all your stupid options. Man. Or like all your new options. Get upside down. Alright, yeah, I guess we're done here. Yeah, I'll set up my map.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll see you when we see you.